joust! I'm not sure, to this day, which of us had the idea first, but I'm sure we'd each argue that we each had it the worst. It was the morning of our 1 millionth anniversary when I picked up my gun. I like to think it took a little longer for you, just for fun. I like to think I had a head start for strategy's sake. In the end, it'll take as long as it always would take. We might meet each other in some place we might not otherwise have. In the end, we'll meet each other just as we planned. A span of time falls between the peaks of the span of some gravitational valley. Each day the sun bakes us while we forge on ahead. Every night we dream of the day the other is dead. The landscapes bleed into each other from one strange scene to the next. The weather changes and stays the same. The wind pays someone its respects. The planet spins, but it doesn't spin us closer. The stars a violent orchestra guided by our war and a composer. Reason escapes us on a daily basis. Whenever I remember, I'm in a desert oasis. I don't quite have the grasp on the theory of the gravitational valley that I thought I would by now. I keep forgetting to check my conviction, my grit, my privilege, and my vitals while we're walking towards each other from opposite ends of the earth with our rifles. If it's worth doing something, isn't it worth making sure you're doing it correctly? I take a search for signs of life, and I take it circumspectly. Every 100 feet or so she reaches in and pulls some Kleenex out of her pockets. Something weird keeps leaking out of her eye sockets. If it's worth its weight in tissues, isn't it worth addressing? We've all got some issues that could use some repressing. I mean, I get it. I just can't get my head all the way around it. I had kind of always hoped we'd meet in a pretty place somewhere in the mountains. When we finally did, it could have been in any strange scene that had already bled out thousands of ounces. If either of us still knew where we were, we most definitely had forgotten why we were there. Carrying big, heavy weapons around the world dulls the senses we share. She still had life in her eyes, where I felt like I'd left all mine behind. I had some love in my heart, but I had a plan on my mind. She reached, too, though. After how many millennia suffering alone? She threw out a tissue and about 100 arid shots before one hit a bone. No matter the theory, the mechanics remain. Maybe I was worried I was confusing signs of life with signs of aggression. But in the aftermath, I think there may have been at least a second of a question. And to this day, I don't know which one of us pulled the trigger first. But I know that we'd both argue we both got it the worst.